A pleasant good evening to each and everyone in Georgetown, Guyana, the diaspora, and elsewhere. Friends all. Some of you, as my critics, might say he talks too much. But I kindly ask you all to take my place and address the nation and call for unity and peace. Today, before I start, I want you to subscribe to the channel. Press the button so you will get the next updated video. While we sit down in our home with friends and family enjoying ourselves, celebrating birthday, Christmas, New Year, and parties, many of our fellow brothers and sisters around the world are suffering, such as in Africa, India, Ukraine, many Latin and South American countries and Caribbean. Some are suffering because of Mother Nature, flood, hurricane, earthquake, tornado. But many others are suffering because of greed of men who believe they have the answer when they are creating war for their people so they can thief everything while their people are killing each other. Today, I want to send my condolence out to the entire world who are suffering. We share your pain. We grieve the death of your loved ones, especially with what is happening in Israel today. My sympathy and condolence goes out to the Israelite people, as much as the Palestinian. But as the world can see, thanks to the cell phone, we are killing journalists when they expose the truth, and we are killing their family. But yet, we are saying that we are fighting to protect ourselves. We always bringing up something on the 7th of October. But does anyone try to look back into the past? How many houses was bulldozed? How many people was made homeless in the land of Palestine when our Jewish brothers and friends, maybe family, was allowed to enter there in 1947? Must we close our eyes and therefore raise on the judgment that we are seeing today on the cell phone? We are killing the UN workers. We are blowing up hospitals. We are blowing up school. But yet for all, countries that believe in human rights and democracy are assisting such a crime. My friends, we can do as much as we want, but not as long as we want. There is a gap. And I do feel that very soon some big catastrophe will happen. Because it's not fair to see women and children are running for their life, and military, police, and soldiers are shooting at them. They have no knife, no weapon. And we cannot call this genocide. We must call it murder then. We are murdering innocent civilians in Israel, in the Gaza Strip. We are annihilating people in modern day, but we blame Adolf Hitler for the war that was created in World War II and killed 6 million Jews. What is the difference from a Jewish life to a Muslim life, or a Hindu life, or a Christian life, or a non-believer? If you believe in Jesus, Muhammad, or God, or Bhagwan, God make us all. The only difference of us is culture, languages. But I will leave it there. But for those innocent people that die, may they rest in peace on both sides of the fence and the world at large. Africans are fighting each other over territory. The Europeans have left Africa. India fights because of religion. Pakistan, Afghanistan, and all this stand. But yet everybody can't understand. Why are we killing each other? None of we will live forever. Many of us speak of the Bible. So-called Christians said the Bible said this will happen. My friends, there's a difference from God and Lord. Lord is what is appointed by king, emperors, and corrupt ministers who appoint somebody and call them Lord. And according to information, the fat of the pork was considered Lord too. But if you're talking about Almighty God, the creator of the universe and mankind, that is not Lord. It is God Almighty. Allah, Bhagwan, or God. If you speak of Prophet Muhammad, Jesus, Musa, Abraham, Noah, and all the prophets, peace be unto them, and we all put it together regardless of the languages, we are worshiping the same creator. But we are condemning our brothers and sisters because of nationality, languages, and culture. Today, I'm going to address our black brothers and sisters who is living in the Caribbean, the Americas, and out of the shore of Africa and Europe. It is time that we must draw the line and stop talking about slavery. And our ancestor was slave. Our ancestor had no clothes. They had no swimming pool, no plane, no helicopters, no bicycle. They had no knife and fork. They didn't dress with three-piece suit. They had no guns. They had no cell phone. All these things created because of the past to the present. Why are we fighting and labeling people? He's a Muslim, he's a Hindu. You are killing me because I am not a Hindu, or I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Christian. Are you God? You bloody hypocrites. Then we are fighting each other. Every day I hear the white man slave our ancestors. Friends, since you so love your ancestors, why are you having sex with your sister, breeding them and treating them unfair, and calling them child mothers, and they proudly call you child father? Why we have to be in the court in America and elsewhere, calling on DNA to prove who a child belongs to, when we are more civilized than 100 years ago? Now let me deal with what's happening in Georgetown, Guyana. We have experienced a lot during the 60s, when Indian and black was living like brothers and sisters, uncle and auntie. There were no division until came the two diseases, Teddy Jagan and Judas Iscariot, and LFSB, Lyndon Sampson Forbes Burnham, a liar son of a effing bitch. Friends, if you look at Guyana, I will give you the biblical thing. If Jerusalem is the place for the Jews, then Guyana might be a historical event in the Bible too, because we had great men with great names. Lyndon Sampson Forbes Burnham, Teddy Jagan, which is fair to say Burnham, the hypocrite, Jagan, the Judas Iscariot, and to bring Guyana together after the uprising in the 60s. What are done by the blacks from the Caribbean, brought in there by foreign agents because of communism. Due to Cuba, that Kennedy had to let them turn back the ship, or she would have blown Cuba off the map. How could an Indian born and grow in the rice field or sugar field come to America, marry a European or a white woman as a Jewish ancestor, and talk about communists? George Correa, said that was stupidness. Children of cheap labor and children of slavery. And today, many blacks of Africa who have never seen Africa rail but see it on TV, they blame the African ancestors in Africa. They sold us, our ancestors, to the slave. Have you ever stopped to think that those people who brought you out of Africa was not doctors and lawyers, musicians and physicians? They were criminals. So Europe put them on ships, Spain, Portugal, England, France, go and conquer. But if you come back and do good, everything is okay. That's why you have all of them. So Walter Raleigh, Drake, Columbus, Juan Martin, and I will continue to name a lot of them, but it makes no sense to you, the very educated people in the Caribbean and Guyana. Because you all seem not to look at history. You, the black people amongst all the race, you love God regardless of whatever religion. You love him so much more than any other race. Forget the Arab. If Saudi Arabia is the land of Prophet Muhammad, and you, the great-grandchildren of slavery, can accept Allah and Muhammad as your messenger, may God have mercy on Saudi Arabia. If you in Africa can accept Muhammad as the messenger, God have mercy on Saudi Arabia. For that is his hometown. That's where he was born and grew. That is where he had a war. But you accept him, honor him, pray to him 5-6 times a day, and even keep fast. But the Arab enslave your children, modern day, rape your young women and sons who are going there to make a living. While there's a war in Israel killing the innocent Palestinian with an excuse of Hamas, which personally I'm not Sherlock Holmes. But I think that matter should be investigated. You cannot have a well-protected border when you are the invaders. And at that day in question, nobody was on alert, not in your alarm system. I wouldn't buy that. So friends, but I wouldn't blame nobody. And the United States that was founded on the trust of God, in God we trust. If we want to be the police of the world and the father of democracy, and to carry humanity, we must speak the truth and defend what is right for humanity. We must not take side. I know the Arab is not no person to trust, like the Indians of India. Is nobody to trust, but then again, amongst all nations, there is good and bad amongst them. Take Guyana, the Caribbean. This black power movement have created a lot of defeat to the future of black people. The Black Lives Matter has hold back the progress of black people. How many black people in the Caribbean, America, Canada, and Europe would like to go back to Africa? You think you would have a swimming pool? You think you would have a helicopter, a plane, and a Big Bang book? All the political leaders in Africa, the good one was murdered. The thieves are running the lands of Africa. I salute South Africa for standing up for humanity and take Israel to the Hague Court. And to be fair, we don't have a right to kill each other because of a religion or on land. Let's face reality. I congratulate the rabbis and the Jewish citizens around the world, and in Israel, who are protesting against the war. How could we do that? In America, we have a lot of foreigners coming over the border. When Donald Trump said put the wall, many against him. But they are coming over, they are getting everything that we who are working, paying tax, not getting. We pay all kind of tax. Even when we buy food, we pay tax. But they are getting welfare unfair well, while we are suffering and we can't even get clean water from the well. Think of it. How would we like to know those foreigners? One day, if they arrive in California or Texas, start to bulldoze the lands of American houses. What will we do? Japan just tried with Pearl Harbor, we mistake them off the world map. Think of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not here to offend black, white, brown, or yellow. We are not responsible for our nationality, our culture, and our color. But there are no such thing as a white man, a black man, a brown man, or a yellow man, unless it's the reggae singer in Jamaica. Friends, let's unite and make this world a better place than the past ancestors. Let's not continue the past, but make a better present for the next generation. In Guyana, we had the blacks rule for the first 28 years, Barnum followed by height. It was not easy under the Burner regime. Many races, Indian, Amerindian, and others, was exploited. The women were raped. Many had to flee Guyana. Many innocent people were killed. And under Desmond Hite, it was different. Under the PPP, actually the same time now with Barrett and Jagan and Mrs. Jagan, now Mr. Ali, we are seeing the same thing of corruption, obstruction, killing and locking up innocent people. But there is a God. May the curse of darkness behold the children and grandchildren who commit crime against humanity. I call on the United States to stand strong with England against Guyana and investigate every minister and allegation that make against them. I call upon my brother Burke. If the things that he said is true, I support his call for justice. But I call upon him to stop talking about apartheid when the black people was ruling a country in Guyana, and the Caribbean does not belong to black race. Indians don't talk race because they are corrupt. But amongst both sides, they are good and bad amongst everybody. Even in your own family. My own mother. My own two brothers. I had to shoot one. I didn't kill him. So if I give you my experience and I travel, and I'll be honest, in Guyana, the blacks are 100% more humanity and love and kind than an Indian. Indians kill their own. They love the voodoo man. They love to ridicule, condemn, criticize, and curse each other. They love land. That's why I compare them with the Jews. Give them an inch and they want a mile. We as a civilized nation in the world must stand up for human rights, dignity, and let's be a friend to each other than enemy. My friends, I am your host, George Correa. Thank you for listening. Excuse what right here, I should have covered it because I don't want to disclose much. But thanks again. If I offend any one of you, my apology. But every wrong you do to people shall come back to haunt your generation. Have a good night, and may God, Allah, Bhagwan be with all of you. Thank you.